Okay, hi everyone. We're gonna get started. I know there's still some people trickling in, and they can just join us as we start. First, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening, with joining us at YECA and talking a little bit about voting and our voting campaign this season. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. This is something that we at YACA have been working on for a super long time, and we're excited to share a little bit about what we have going on this season, and how you guys can get involved. Um, so a little bit about YACA. If you guys are not familiar, we are Young Evangelicals for Climate Action. We are a nonprofit and the youth partner ministry of EN, which is the Evangelical Environmental Network. So I am the national organizer, Lauren Kim, and on staff with me is also Jamie Butler. Jamie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Butler. As I said, I'm located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I serve as the Communications Associate for YECA and our partner ministry EEN and work alongside Lauren. Thanks for being here.
Mhm. So I'll be presenting today, and Jamie will be monitoring the chat and answering any questions that you guys have in real time. Feel free to ping her if you have any questions, or just want more information about something that I've said in this presentation. For YECA, our focus is working on climate advocacy, as a way of giving back to the Lord. We are a faith-based organization. We are a nonprofit. So today we are going to be talking a little bit about how to vote, how to support voting, but not focusing on candidates. So the things that we're going to be talking about in today's webinar are key dates. So different dates that we need to get a timeline for, important information related to voting. And then we're going to spend the bulk of today's webinar talking about tabling and talking points. So in other words, the point of tabling and how to effectively hold a table and different ways to communicate voting for voting with climate in mind. We're also going to talk about other opportunities that we have in the pipeline. So today's webinar is just the first kickoff webinar, and we have other exciting opportunities coming up as part of our voter campaign that we don't want you guys to miss. Um, so we'll be sharing that as well. And then lastly, we'll send some resources your way and stay back and answer any questions you guys have related to this presentation. So firstly, we have some important dates. Um, so coming up soon is the YECA op-ed party on October 3rd. This will be led by one of our steering committee members, Jenna Van Donsler, and she'll be hosting this webinar on how to write an op-ed. So if you are interested in writing about faith, climate, voting with the climate in mind, please come and sign up for this webinar. We'll talk more about it at the end, but it is coming up in about a month, and it's a great opportunity to learn about how to write effectively and get published. Um, Other important dates are voter registration deadlines. So this is going to be very specific to what state you're located in. And we recommend using one of our voter tools, which we'll talk about in a second, on figuring out when you need to register to vote and registration for early voting, and also absentee voting as well. Typically, they run about 15 to 30 days before Election Day, dependent on the state. So please check out our voter tools to figure out when those deadlines are. Lastly, we have November 5th, which is obviously Election Day. This is the most important date if you're voting in person. Um, we also want to highlight that this could also be the state voter day if your state is holding other elections related to your state or Commonwealth. So another thing I want to highlight is please check your registration if you're interested in voting early or if you have friends, people in your community who are living internationally and would like to vote as well, because they might have special consideration if they're voting from afar. Okay, so let's get into logistics on how to vote. So really quickly, let's start with logistics. Um, be sure to bring a photo ID, and that could be either like a license or a passport, and an additional identification, such as a social security card or birth certificate, just in case. Um, in the case that you don't bring either a photo ID, you can ask for a provisional ballot. And what a provisional ballot is, your vote, your ballot will be held in a special pile and not counted until after they can verify that you are a registered voter, and they can identify who you are. So be sure to ask for a provisional ballot. If you forget, be sure to talk about provisional ballots to your communities in case someone forgets a photo ID. And then location. So to find your polling place and its hours, you actually have to contact your state or territorial election office. It will be very localized and broken down to where your address is. So be sure to check out your town resources or your city resources. Okay, so for ballot and climate, I'll break this down into two ways to figure out how to vote. So if you want to learn more about the candidates, in this case, we're talking about the presidential candidates. There will be voter guides and sample ballots made available either at the polling place or through different tables around. Um, and y these voter guides can also be published through media outlets as well. So if there's a newspaper or article that you trust, oftentimes they'll promote or push a certain voter guide. So be sure to read those to help you outline um, what are the key issues that each candidate believes in. Uh, if you want to learn more about issues, and we at YECA focus on environmental issues, we recommend plugging into your local news outlet to learn about what issues are facing your direct community in terms of the environment, and then digging deeper into what those issues translate to in larger federal policy or larger state policy. We also recommend that you watch interviews with different politicians, both local, party, presidential, just to understand their stances on different issues that you may be passionate about. All right. So for tabling, we at YCA really recommend tabling as a way to get more involved in voting. And we have a lot of resources to help you feel comfortable with tabling if you if this is a project that you want to take on. So tabling basically means setting up a table outside in a public area, and having people come up, and attracting different passerbys to either one, sign up to vote, or two, to disseminate information about the vote. So we're going to be talking about both tabling in this presentation. So how to sign up to vote and information about voting. So when you are setting up a table, things to consider are location. So what location around you gets a lot of traffic? Are people stopping at this place? Is it accessible? Um, are people walking around, not like a car heavy area? And also, is it safe? And is there a wide range of people going to be there and have the capacity to stop and listen to you and sign up? So those are things to think about when you're thinking about setting up a place. In terms of implementing, be sure to review your policy around where you want to table. So if you want to table on a sidewalk, um, you need to clear it with the town or the city. If you're tabling at a school, be sure to clear it with university resources, a university office of campus, if there is one. Um, if you are worried that you're not about your location and if what laws are applicable around the location and you really feel that that location is ideal for tabling, um, you can contact either the city or the police to learn more about if that place is safe and if there's any associated laws around that area. One thing I do want to highlight is that if you are tabling on the day of the election, you have to be polling 100 feet away from the polling place. So I know that a lot of people are really excited and they want to start tabling for information right next to the polling place as people are walking in. We do remind everyone that you have to be 100 feet away, and a polling place will be pretty strict about enforcing that. So just be sure that you have several areas in a backup location just in case. YCA can help in several different ways. Um, I would say primarily with materials and with voting tools. So with materials, YACA has boxes full of stickers, papers, different leaflets, things related to climate and voting, and who we are and how to vote with the climate in mind, available in boxes, and we can get that sent out to you, so you can have that. If there are other things that we don't have in these boxes, but you would like to have at your tabling, please reach out to us and we can reimburse you. So common things that people have asked for before in tabling requests are reimbursements for poster boards. If you want to have a big poster board talking about voting, and putting together something with logos and the environment and quotes. Um, People have also asked for reimbursements for tablecloths. Orange is our color, bright orange tablecloths, or just pens, um, little fun trinkets and swag bags to give out to people. So be sure to email us with your proposal of what you are going to buy, and how much you would like us to reimburse if it fits those guidelines. So other things that YCA has is our voter tools, and I'm going to get to this in a second. Essentially, we have voter tools on our website to help you with tabling. Jamie, if you'll go to the next slide. So on our website, we have 4 tools that are connected to vote.org. So these tools are checking your registration, registering to vote, requesting an absentee ballot, and what's on your ballot. And we have a link at the bottom of this slide. And that all these tools, these 4 tools, are directly embedded on our website. And when you go to our website, you can do all these things right there, and it's a one-stop shop for everything you need. When you're tabling, we recommend that you have a laptop or an iPad open to our page, um, and you can show them all the tools that they need, and depending on what they want, they can just click on the link and check their voter's registration, or request an absentee ballot. Jamie, next slide. So to find where this is, go to our website at yeca.org. And then if you go to the side drop-down menu, go to Vote for Climate. Next slide. And if you open that link, um, it says, "Are you ready to vote?" And then they'll have our embedded tools within there. So when you have your laptop open at your table, that is the page that you'll have up. And then you'll have all four tools just on that one page, and they can just check right there as they with filling out their information. We have a couple of samples table setups. So as you can see, there's in the first image, tablecloth, posters, leaflets, pens, um, a laptop and or iPads is something that we highly recommend. Other common things that we've seen with tabling are poster boards, and then we have YECA stickers with our logo on it included in our tabling box. Okay, so next we're going to be talking about talking points once you engage with your passerbys. So we have several things in our speaking toolkit that we're going to share with you guys today. So one is talking about partnering with YECA. So we have a sample script here talking about who YECA is and why we're doing the work that we're doing. So if you choose to table and partner with us and use our logo, use our name while tabling, we do recommend that you have like a script like this, just loosely memorized, or you can have this printed out and just you can refer to bits and pieces of it when engaging with people. Um, that way people know why you're voting, what YECA is if you are promoting our logo and using our stickers, and kind of talking a little bit about values and why you're caring for the environment from a faith perspective. We also have a sample script available. I'm not going to go through this entire thing, but very loosely, we have a script that people can modify as you see fit. And it doesn't have to be as long. It can be as long as short or as detailed as you want it, but it's a quick spiel about who you are, why you're voting, why they should sign up to vote, a little bit about YECA, and or like personal reasons why they should vote or act on climate, and why it's important to vote. So again, definitely modify this depending on how you are engaging. So this type of script is perfect for tabling for information if you're trying to table and share information about a certain cause. If you're trying to get people to vote, you would alter the script in a different way. Um, if you're having a conversation with someone kind of one off, but talking about voting, um, alter this script depending on if you know them, what their background is, and things like that. So a great jumping off point. We definitely encourage people to personalize. All right. What's unique about YECA is we emphasize a lot about climate testimony. So, and this is a really important tool to have in your tool belt, and just bring it out whenever you want to talk about um, the climate. And it's a great way to get people engaged and hear about why climate action is important personally to you. Um, so a climate testimony is a story of how God is empowering you to love God's world and our neighbors better by acting on climate change. It is a way to share your story and invite others to understand faithful climate action as an act of faithful witness and discipleship. So I can go on and on talking about why testimonies are so important, especially to Christians because stories have the power to transform lives. And when we use storytelling to connect with our peers, our audience, our friends, we're influencing them in a much more effective way than arguing, debating, um, or even just being passive and listening. Um, it's a really powerful tool, and we encourage you to craft a climate testimony. So, with making a climate testimony, there's no one size fits all because this is very personal. For those of you who have said a testimony before, publicly or among friends, you know how different a testimony is from person to person. So, when crafting it, we have three guiding questions to keep in mind while writing this out. So, we recommend just journaling at first. Um, Answers to these three questions. How, as a Christian, have you come to care about the climate crisis? Two, what have you been doing in your own life in response to the climate crisis? And three, what is your prayer for the church and our political leaders regarding regarding the climate crisis? So we recommend writing these down and formulating them into a story, one timeline, and making sure that things flow together in a way that's cohesive, makes sense, and also faith-centric. When you're talking about your climate testimony, um, be aware about messaging and how the power of messaging. So we always say, use the power of I. So make things personal to who you are. I feel, I think, I experienced, um, because no one can deny your experiences or your feelings. Um, and it makes your story a lot more powerful. Bring your testimony close to home. So make it relatable by making it specific. So specific to your family, if you're talking to your friends who know your family, or bringing it specific to your town or your state if you're talking to someone in those communities as well. So they also feel like they have a stake in what you have to say. And they can also relate to it. It's not something that's so far away. And lastly, moral framing. And that's a theme that should be throughout the entire testimony. When you're speaking to others, um, be sure to establish um, shared values at first. Build relationships, talk to the person, understand who your audience is, and build meaning together by using moral framing and building on shared values. So communicate values and identities over facts and statistics. We have so many scientists, climate scientists out there that can spew over facts and statistics and numbers and graphs every single day. But what makes us as lay people, people who are concerned citizens, different from them is that we have very personal stories that can touch people in a way that maybe facts and statistics can't. So we found that people are motivated by a shared sense of identity and belonging. So tap into those, really understand who it is that you're talking to. If you're tabling or talking to a university, um, and you're talking to some people who are 18 to 22, tap into shared identity. Um, I went to the University of Virginia, and if I'm talking to someone who, as an alum, if I'm talking to someone from that school, I talk to them a little bit about shared identity, what their class schedule looks like, if they're going to be on the lawn, football games, what they care most about on grounds, because we call our campus grounds, and build shared meaning that way. And once you do, go in with your own story. Um, Facts and figures are persuasive for those who understand them. Most don't. When you're talking to people, assume that they have zero understanding about the facts and the figures and speak to just them as people. Um, if a good rule that I always use when I'm speaking to someone on the fly is story of me, story of you, and story of us. So speak about your own story and your climate testimony, story of you. So talk about shared experiences that you and that person might have together, based on shared values or shared identity or shared environment. And then story of us, how that make that story bigger, make your point bigger, relate something that you said to the wider stage. So oftentimes we can feel very nervous about speaking about voting, politics, climate action. But I do want to encourage you all by saying that most Americans are concerned about climate change, about two-thirds. So more likely than not, you are talking to someone who's on the same page than you. And they believe that climate change is somewhat important, and that number only goes up um, as you speak to populations younger and younger or closer to cities or communities most impacted by environmental degradation. Um, so never feel alone in what you're saying. Most likely, you are speaking to someone who also cares about the environment. And it is very rare that someone is going to be a straight up denier and will engage with you um, and fun debate. So it's important to share why it is that you care about creation care and then ask them to translate their concern or their interest into action. All right. I want to touch on other opportunities that we have. Um, so we're also offering an op-ed party, and I talked a little bit about this before. So one of our steering committee members, Jenna von Donsler, is hosting an op-ed party on October 3rd at 8 p.m. So Jenna is a graduate of Yale Divinity School, and she did her master's, where she holds her master's in religion and ecology. So Jenna has written a ton of op-eds, both locally and nationally, and she's going to be leading um, the op-ed registrants on how to write an effective op-ed with climate, faith, and just advocacy at the heart of it. And she'll walk you through how to write, how to edit, how to know your audience, how to submit it to different news outlets, um, and um, how to get what to do after you get published. So she's had a lot of experience with op-eds, writing op-eds, getting them out there. She'll be touching a little bit on like written op-eds, but the same concepts can be used for going on a radio station or television. How do you write and connect with your audience and get published and talk about your story on a larger scale? All right. Another opportunity that we have for this voter season is Impactive. So Impactive is an app where you can run text banking, and um, we'll talk more about this through Reaction, which is our newsletter. But Impactive is an app. Anyone can download this, and you can download your contacts into Impactive, so your network. And we'll have text scripts ready as samples for you to use. And you can use our text scripts, which are already downloaded in our app, once you download this app and link with us. And you can, of course, edit these scripts to however you want. And then you can use your edited scripts to um, as text messages and send it out to whoever in your network. And these will be mass texts. It doesn't have to be everyone in your contacts, but it could just be a couple of people that you want to send a mass text out, and talking about climate and voting, and how to get engaged and how to vote. All right. So, in summary, YECA can help with your voting and or advocacy plan for this fall season. Would really like you to get involved and help you in whatever ways that you need support. So, today we talked about tabling and connecting with your audience. And we do have the resources available uh, to help you with that. So, like I said before, our voter tools are going to be on our website. Um, and our tabling materials are going to be found through email. So email us at communications@yeca.org if you're interested in tabling, and we'll send you tabling material if you send us your information about where to best ship it, um, and talk to you more about other material that you might need. If you want examples of effective testimonies from our network, visit our tribute page. We have a tribute page, which is a web page of all of our um, stored videos, different testimonies from all of our networks, talking about climate and why they're engaged in this work. It's a great place to start, and it's a good way to see how other people are engaging with climate action. So this is our email. If you want to contact us for anything, you can contact us for more information about anything that we've said before. Help, we offer climate testimony coaching, in addition to what's on our tribute page. Um, if you want support for tabling, we offer that as well. Um, or if you have a specific project related to voting, we're happy to support on bespoke projects. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We are YECA, Young Evangelicals for Climate Action, and we are really, really, really excited for this voter season. And we're so grateful for you coming, being interested and being interested advocates for the environment, and for acting with climate in mind.